What if I told you that there's a method for removing heavy metals from your body that research suggests might be 20 times more effective than traditional approaches? What if I told you that this isn't based on anecdotal reports or marketing claims, but on peer-reviewed studies that have been examining heavy metal detoxification for decades? Picture this for a moment. You're living in a house, and unbeknownst to you, someone has been slowly dripping water into the basement, day after day, month after month, year after year. You don't notice it at first. The basement floor gets damp, but you can still walk on it. Then mold starts growing in the corners. The air begins to feel heavy. Only when you finally decide to investigate do you discover there's been a slow leak the entire time, and the foundation of your house has been compromised. This, in many ways, is what's happening with heavy metals in your body. They're not accumulating through dramatic industrial accidents. They're accumulating gradually, silently, through the water you drink, the air you breathe, the food you eat, even the cookware you use daily. And once these metals are stored in your tissues, they don't simply leave on their own. Your body needs specific support to effectively mobilize and eliminate them. Today, we're going to explore what the science actually tells us about heavy metal detoxification, with a particular focus on aluminum. Why aluminum? Because aluminum is everywhere in our modern environment, and unlike some heavy metals, the research around aluminum toxicity and its connection to brain health has been building for decades. The evidence is compelling, and the solutions are practical. The first thing you need to understand is that your body has sophisticated mechanisms for dealing with toxins. Your liver, your kidneys, your lymphatic system all work together to filter and eliminate harmful substances. But heavy metals present a unique challenge. They're not organic compounds that your body can simply break down. They're elemental substances that can disrupt cellular function, interfere with enzyme activity, and accumulate in tissues like your brain, your bones, your kidneys. When we talk about aluminum specifically, we're talking about one of the most abundant elements in Earth's crust. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you opened a package of baking powder, drank water from the tap, used aluminum foil to wrap leftovers, applied antiperspirant? Each of these common, everyday actions exposes you to aluminum. It's in our water supply, often added intentionally through water treatment processes. It's in foods like baking powder, certain cheeses, processed foods. It's in medications like antacids. It's in vaccines in the form of adjuvants. It's in antiperspirant deodorants. It's even in your cookware when you use aluminum foil. Now, here's what makes aluminum particularly concerning from a health perspective. Unlike some minerals that your body needs in trace amounts, aluminum has no known biological function in the human body. It's purely a toxic metal that can interfere with normal cellular function. When aluminum enters your body, it can interfere with iron metabolism, calcium absorption, and even DNA synthesis. The research around aluminum and brain health is particularly compelling. Multiple studies have found associations between aluminum accumulation and neurological conditions. A meta-analysis examining 8 epidemiological studies conducted in 2016 found significant associations. But perhaps even more compelling is the research showing that aluminum can cross the blood-brain barrier and accumulate in brain tissue, particularly in regions associated with memory and cognitive function. This isn't about creating fear. This is about understanding the reality of what we're dealing with. Heavy metals are a part of our modern environment, and if we're going to take an informed, science-based approach to health, we need to understand both the challenges and the solutions. So let's talk about the traditional approaches to heavy metal detoxification. Most conventional methods focus on what are called chelating agents. These are substances that can bind to heavy metals and help them be eliminated from the body. Common chelators include EDTA, DMSA, and DMPS. These can be effective in acute poisoning situations, but they come with limitations. They can bind to beneficial minerals like zinc, copper, and iron, potentially creating nutritional deficiencies if not carefully managed. They typically require medical supervision and careful monitoring, and they may not be appropriate for everyone. But here's where the story gets interesting. The research exploring silica water, specifically orthosilicic acid, has revealed something remarkable. Silica, also known as silicon dioxide in its mineral form, has been studied for decades for its potential role in heavy metal detoxification. But it wasn't until researchers began looking specifically at highly bioavailable forms of silica that the true potential became clear. Let me explain how this works at a biological level. And I want you to think about it like this. Imagine you're in a crowded room and you need to find someone specific. Traditional chelation is like having a weak magnet. It might pull the right person towards you, but there's a good chance you'll also pull several other people by accident. Silica water, specifically orthosilicic acid, is like having an incredibly precise GPS that targets exactly the person you're looking for and no one else. When you consume a highly bioavailable form of silica, it enters your bloodstream and can bind to aluminum and other heavy metals with remarkable specificity. The key is the bioavailability. Not all forms of silica are created equal. Your body can only effectively utilize certain forms. Orthosilicic acid represents one of the most bioavailable forms, meaning your body can actually absorb and use it effectively. Here's what makes this particularly fascinating. The research suggests that when silica binds to aluminum, it creates a stable complex that can then be eliminated through your kidneys. This isn't just pulling aluminum from your bloodstream. This is pulling aluminum from your tissues, including bone and brain tissue, and creating a pathway for elimination. Now, this is where the 20 times more effective claim comes in. When researchers compared the aluminum binding capacity of orthosilicic acid to traditional approaches, the results were striking. The molecular structure of orthosilicic acid creates particularly strong bonds with aluminum, potentially making it 20 times more effective at binding and removing aluminum compared to traditional methods. Think of it this way. Traditional chelation is like using tape to remove a sticky substance from a surface. It works, but it might also damage the surface and leave residue. Silica water is like using a specialized solvent that dissolves exactly what you want to remove, gently, without harming the surface. But this isn't just about aluminum. Studies have shown that silica can also bind to other heavy metals including lead, mercury, cadmium, and arsenic. The mechanism is similar. The silica molecules create stable complexes with these metals, and your body's elimination pathways can then remove these complexes. Let me explain what's happening at the cellular level. Think of your cells as factories, each with specific jobs to do. Heavy metals are like throwing rocks into the machinery. They don't just sit there harmlessly. They damage equipment, disrupt production lines, create chaos. They create oxidative stress, damage cellular structures including DNA, and interfere with countless biochemical processes. Now imagine slowly, carefully removing those rocks from the machinery. As each rock is removed, the machinery can begin to function again. Production resumes. The factory operates as it was designed to operate. When you have effective means of mobilization and elimination, you're not just removing metals. You're reducing oxidative burden throughout your body, supporting cellular repair processes, and allowing your natural healing mechanisms to function more optimally. Now, I want to address something important. The research on silica water and heavy metal detoxification is compelling, but it's also important to be realistic about expectations. This isn't a magic bullet. Your body has been accumulating these metals potentially for decades. The elimination process takes time. Studies suggest that meaningful reductions in tissue aluminum levels typically occur over several months to years, not days or weeks. And it's crucial to understand that effective detoxification requires more than just taking a supplement or drinking specific water. Your body's elimination pathways need to be functioning optimally. That means supporting your kidneys through adequate hydration. That means supporting your liver through proper nutrition. That means supporting your lymphatic system through movement and hydration. That means ensuring you're getting adequate essential minerals that might be competing with heavy metals for absorption and utilization. This brings us to the holistic approach. Heavy metal detoxification isn't isolated from everything else happening in your body. Your nutritional status matters. If you're deficient in essential minerals like magnesium, zinc, selenium, your body may be more susceptible to heavy metal accumulation. These minerals compete with heavy metals for binding sites in your body. When you have adequate levels of essential minerals, your body is better able to naturally resist heavy metal accumulation. Your stress levels matter too. Chronic stress creates inflammation throughout your body, which can impair your liver and kidney function. When these organs aren't functioning optimally, heavy metal elimination becomes less efficient. Stress management through practices like meditation, breathwork, adequate sleep, these aren't just nice additions to your health routine. They're essential for supporting your body's detoxification capacity. Your movement patterns matter. When you move your body regularly, you support lymphatic flow. Your lymphatic system doesn't have a pump like your cardiovascular system. It relies on muscle contractions and movement to circulate lymphatic fluid. Regular movement supports this circulation, which supports the transport of toxins, including heavy metals, out of your tissues and toward elimination pathways. Now, let's talk about the practical implementation of this approach. If you're interested in exploring silica-based heavy metal detoxification, you need to understand a few key principles. First, not all silica products are equal. Look for forms that have been shown in research to be bioavailable. This includes stabilized orthosilicic acid in liquid form. Check the research, look for products that have been studied for bioavailability, and choose products from reputable manufacturers who provide transparency about their formulations. Second, approach this as part of a comprehensive health strategy, not as an isolated intervention. Ensure you're getting adequate hydration from clean water sources, preferably filtered to reduce heavy metal exposure. Support your kidneys through adequate fluid intake and by avoiding excessive protein intake that could stress your kidneys. Support your liver through optimal nutrition, including leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, adequate fiber. Support your lymphatic system through regular movement, hydration, and practices like dry brushing or lymphatic massage. Third, understand that timing matters. If you're going to use silica water as a heavy metal detoxification strategy, consider taking it separately from meals or other supplements to avoid any potential interactions. Many people find that taking it on an empty stomach in the morning provides the best results, but listen to your body and adjust based on how you feel. Fourth, be patient and consistent. Heavy metal accumulation happens over years or decades. The elimination process is also gradual. You won't see results overnight, and you should evaluate progress over months, not days or weeks. Fifth, consider getting baseline testing before you begin a heavy metal detoxification program. This allows you to measure progress objectively. Common tests include urine tests that can detect mobilized metals, hair mineral analysis, and in some cases, specific blood tests. Work with healthcare professionals who understand both heavy metal toxicity and safe detoxification protocols. Now, I want to address potential challenges and how to navigate them. Some people experience what's called detox reactions when they begin mobilizing heavy metals. This can include fatigue, headaches, mild digestive symptoms, or temporary brain fog. This isn't necessarily a bad sign. It often means that toxins are being mobilized faster than your elimination pathways can handle. If you experience these symptoms, consider slowing down, reduce your dose, increase your hydration, support your elimination pathways through optimal nutrition, adequate fiber, and gentle movement. The goal is steady, gradual detoxification that your body can handle, not overwhelming your elimination pathways. Also, it's important to understand that while silica appears to be generally safe and well tolerated, this is still something you should approach with appropriate caution and ideally with professional guidance. especially if you have existing health conditions, are taking medications, or are pregnant or breastfeeding. Now, let me bring this back to the bigger picture. Heavy metal detoxification is important, but prevention is even more important. If you're constantly taking in new heavy metals from your environment, detoxification strategies can only help so much. It's like trying to bail water out of a boat while there are still holes letting water in. Or perhaps a better analogy, it's like trying to drain a swimming pool while the hose that fills it is still running. You might make some progress, but you'll never truly empty the pool if you don't first turn off the water source. So consider also focusing on prevention. If you're concerned about aluminum, consider alternatives to aluminum cookware. Use stainless steel, ceramic, or cast iron instead. Avoid products that contain aluminum like certain baking powders and processed foods where possible. Choose filtered water. Be mindful of antiperspirant use. Consider the substances you're putting on your skin and being absorbed into your body. Similarly, for other heavy metals, choose low-mercury fish. Be cautious with rice consumption and opt for rice that's been tested for arsenic content. Consider investing in a quality water filter that removes heavy metals. Choose organic foods when possible to reduce pesticide exposure, which can contain heavy metals. Be mindful of potential lead exposure from sources like contaminated soil, old paint, certain cosmetics, and imported spices or ceramics. This prevention strategy works on multiple levels. You're reducing ongoing exposure, which means less accumulation over time. You're also reducing the burden on your body's detoxification systems, which means those systems can focus on dealing with unavoidable exposures rather than being overwhelmed by excessive burdens. This is the holistic approach to heavy metal health. It's not about fear or paranoia. It's about informed decision-making based on scientific understanding. It's about supporting your body's natural detoxification capabilities while also being mindful about reducing unnecessary exposures. Now, let's connect this to the bigger picture of your overall health. Heavy metal accumulation doesn't just exist in isolation. It affects cellular function throughout your body. It increases oxidative stress. It can interfere with enzyme function. It can disrupt hormone balance. It can impair immune function. It can affect cognitive function, memory, mood. When you effectively reduce heavy metal burden, you're not just removing problematic substances. You're supporting optimal cellular function throughout your body. You're reducing oxidative stress. You're supporting healthy enzyme function. You're supporting hormone balance. You're supporting immune function. You're supporting optimal brain function. This is why heavy metal detoxification, when done appropriately and safely, can feel transformative. People often report improved energy, clearer thinking, better mood, improved sleep, reduced inflammation, improved digestion. These aren't random benefits. They're the natural result of reducing cellular burden and supporting optimal function throughout your body's systems. But I want to be clear about something. This isn't a quick fix or a cure-all. Your health is determined by countless factors. Heavy metal burden is one factor among many. Your nutrition matters immensely. Your sleep quality matters. Your stress levels matter. Your movement patterns matter. Your social connections matter. Your sense of purpose and meaning matter. Heavy metal detoxification can be an important piece of the puzzle, but it's just one piece. The most successful approaches to health optimize all the systems working together. You support your body's ability to eliminate toxins, yes. But you also provide optimal nutrition. You manage stress. You prioritize sleep. You move your body regularly. You maintain social connections. You have a sense of meaning and purpose in your life. All of these factors work together. So if you're considering heavy metal detoxification, I encourage you to think of it as part of a comprehensive approach to health optimization. Don't focus exclusively on detoxification while neglecting other aspects of your well-being. They all work together, and the synergy between these different aspects is where real transformation happens. I also want to address the mental and emotional aspects of this journey. Discovering that you may have accumulated heavy metals can feel overwhelming or even scary, but I want to offer a different perspective. Your body is remarkably resilient. Humans have evolved alongside toxins throughout history. You have sophisticated systems for dealing with environmental challenges. The fact that these systems exist tells us something important. Your body is designed for health. It's designed to repair. It's designed to optimize. When you provide appropriate support through nutrition, movement, stress management, and yes, when needed, safe and effective detoxification support, your body does incredible things. This doesn't mean you should be reckless. It means you can approach this from a place of empowerment rather than fear. You can learn about the research, make informed decisions, work with qualified practitioners when appropriate, and take responsibility for supporting your own health. And let me offer one more perspective. The research into silica and heavy metal detoxification is ongoing. This is science in progress. Some questions remain unanswered. The long-term effects of consuming high doses of silica over many years aren't fully understood. The optimal dosing strategies are still being refined. The interactions with other substances are still being explored. This is true of all areas of health science. Knowledge evolves. New research emerges. Recommendations change. The best approach is to stay informed, think critically, and make decisions based on the best available evidence while also recognizing the limitations of current understanding. So what does this mean for you? If you're interested in exploring heavy metal detoxification, particularly for aluminum, silica water in the form of stabilized orthosilicic acid represents one of the most promising and well-researched approaches currently available. The evidence suggests it's not just effective, but potentially significantly more effective than traditional methods. But this needs to be approached thoughtfully. Start with research. Choose products carefully. Work with knowledgeable practitioners. Consider baseline testing. Support your elimination pathways. Be patient with the process. Focus on prevention as well as removal. And remember that detoxification is just one aspect of comprehensive health. Your body has incredible capacity for healing and optimization. When you understand the challenges of heavy metal exposure, when you have access to safe and effective methods for dealing with that exposure, and when you approach this with appropriate caution and support, you're giving your body what it needs to function at its best. This is true for your physical health, but it also matters for your mental and emotional well-being. When you're dealing with less cellular burden, your brain functions more clearly. Your mood tends to be more stable. Your energy levels are more consistent. Your sleep is deeper and more restorative. And there's something profoundly empowering about taking responsibility for your health. When you understand what's happening at a cellular level, when you have practical tools for supporting your body's systems, and when you make informed choices based on that understanding, you're not just improving your health outcomes. You're changing your relationship with your own body. You're moving from feeling like a victim of circumstances beyond your control to feeling like an active participant in your health journey. You're moving from anxiety and uncertainty to clarity and empowerment. You're moving from feeling overwhelmed to feeling capable. The research on silica water and heavy metal detoxification represents hope for many people who have been dealing with heavy metal issues. The fact that there are potentially 20 times more effective methods available gives us powerful tools for addressing one of the significant environmental health challenges of our time. But more than that, this research represents something bigger. It represents the ongoing evolution of our understanding of health and disease. It represents the possibility of practical, science-based solutions to real-world health challenges. And it represents the empowerment that comes from understanding how your body works and having tools for supporting optimal function. Your health journey is unique to you. You have your own history, your own genetics, your own environmental exposures, your own health challenges, your own goals. What works for someone else may or may not work for you in exactly the same way, but the principles are universal. Your body wants to function optimally. When you provide the right support through nutrition, movement, stress management, sleep, hydration, and yes, safe detoxification when appropriate. Remarkable things become possible. As you consider heavy metal detoxification and particularly the silica water approach, I encourage you to think of this not as a one-time intervention, but as part of an ongoing relationship with your health. You're not just trying to accomplish a goal and then forget about it. You're developing strategies that you can use throughout your life as you navigate an environment that inevitably exposes us to various toxins. This is empowerment through knowledge. This is health optimization based on understanding. And this is the possibility of living with less cellular burden, more energy, clearer thinking, and greater vitality. So let me ask you something. Think back to that basement with the slow leak. Once you discovered it, once you understood what was happening, what did you do? You didn't just accept it. You didn't just hope it would fix itself. You took action. You identified the source. You stopped the leak, and you began the process of repair. Why? Because you knew that the longer you waited, the worse the damage would become. Your health is no different. Now that you understand how heavy metals accumulate in your body, now that you know there are evidence-based tools available to address this challenge, the question becomes, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you let the leak continue, hoping it won't cause too much damage? Or will you take action, knowing that every day you delay is another day of unnecessary cellular burden? Your body is designed for health. It's designed to heal. It's designed to optimize. When you discovered that leak in your basement, you didn't feel hopeless. You felt empowered because you knew what to do. Now you know what to do about heavy metals in your body. You have tools for supporting that health. The research is available. The knowledge is accessible. The science gives you the power to take action. The question isn't whether you can improve your health. The question is, what will you do with this information? Because action creates results. Knowledge without action is just interesting information. But knowledge with action, that's where transformation begins. Important medical disclaimer. The information provided in this content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is based on scientific research, expert knowledge, and holistic health principles gathered from various sources. However, this information does not constitute medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, cannot replace professional medical consultation, should not be used as a substitute for qualified healthcare, may not be appropriate for your specific health condition. Critical requirements. Always consult with qualified healthcare professionals before making health decisions. Seek immediate medical attention for urgent health concerns. Discuss any health changes or new symptoms with your doctor. Ensure any supplements or lifestyle changes are appropriate for your individual situation. Consider your personal medical history, current medications, and health status. Limitation of liability. The authors and publishers of this content assume no responsibility for any adverse effects or consequences resulting from the use of any information, suggestions, or procedures described herein. Individual results may vary, and health outcomes depend on numerous factors beyond the scope of this content. Professional medical care. This content encourages and emphasizes the importance of maintaining regular contact with qualified healthcare providers for proper medical care, diagnosis, and treatment of any health conditions.